Welcome everybody to High Point Solution Stadium for Week 6 of the high school football season. The Westfield Blue Devils looking to extend their state-long winning streak to 31 consecutive games. Michael Leniart alongside Chris Witzel here at Rutgers University. And Chris, last week, a tough performance for Westfield on the road at Union. They really had to fight through, only winning 7-6.
Yeah, Mike, it was a very close game. The defense, sure they got the win, but it just didn't look like themselves. Jake Val says time and time again, win the line of scrimmage. Didn't look like they did that too much during the game, but overall they did get the win, so that was important.
And Chris, looking in this Elizabeth Minutemen team, 3-2 on the season, 2 big wins over Hunterdon Central and Union. They're led by this run game. They really like to run the football, especially with their star running back with 980 yards in 5 games, Javon Wachter, and their dynamic duo quarterback, LaShane Taylor.
Yeah, Mike, Javon Wachter, 980 yards with 5 TDs is absolutely outstanding. Closest one to that is Tim Allegro, around 570 yards on the season. And LaShane Taylor, he has 3 TDs with 280 yards rushing, which is absolutely ridiculous for a quarterback. And also Nassim Daniels, 5 TDs with 118 yards rushing. Very run-heavy offense. But this Westfield team, very good at stopping the run. If they can control the run game by the Minutemen, they should get the win.
A huge stage for both of these teams, but something Westfield's used to. Expect their seniors to have a big afternoon. Westfield and Elizabeth coming right up at 1 o'clock on BD TV. Welcome everybody here to High Point Solution Stadium at Rutgers University, where the Westfield Blue Devils, the number 11 team in the state of New Jersey, taking on the 3-2 Elizabeth Minutemen. Michael Leniart alongside Chris Witzel here on this Saturday afternoon, where Westfield looks to extend their state-long winning streak to 31 consecutive games.
Yeah, Mike, it's a huge game for the Blue Devils. Just another great milestone for them to accomplish. And playing against Elizabeth, a team that they narrowly beat last year, 13-7 at Elizabeth, it'd be great to finally, put it to them and get the big lead that they had a lot last year and a couple times this year as well.
As Will Kessler sends it away, the sophomore returned from the 10-yard line out to the 32, and Adam McDaniel, the senior, comes up with the stop.
Yeah, Mike, Adam McDaniel, we talked about in the pregame interview, probably, the hero last week, had that great pass deflection, fully extended to knock it away, and he won him the game. Basically, Westfield escaped that with a win, 7-6, and right now they're going with a very heavy run offense, but this defense, they know how to control it. And if they can do that this entire game, make them pass a little bit more, it could be in Westfield's favor.
It was the senior Jabril Harmon on the return, a good return to start out this ball game for the Minutemen, wearing white jerseys, white pants, and their black helmets. Starting at the 31 under center, the junior quarterback, LaShane Taylor, number 3. And he'll roll out to his right and take a shot down the field on the first play of the game, and Stevie Barden, the senior number 1 in blue, gets his hand on the football to take it away.
Yeah, Barden back in business. We saw him last week, injury on the bottom part of his body, but right there just staying with the Elizabeth receiver the whole way and able to knock it down. And right there, looks like Elizabeth came out early passing the ball. You don't really see that too often. They usually throw the ball a couple times in the first half. But right there, Stevie Barden able to knock it down. It brings up a 2nd and 10 for the Minutemen.
And they hand it off up to the left side for a few yards on 2nd down to make it 3rd and 6. And that's the running back, Chris. Westfield's going to have to stop this afternoon. The junior, 5'10", 160 pounds, number 7, Javon Wachter, 980 yards in just 5 games, Chris.
Absolutely unbelievable. Like 1,000 yards in the first 5 games. That's 200 yards a game. Fantastic. And, against this Westfield team, if he can break one free, he can just prove that he's one of the best running backs in the state, because this D-line for Westfield is one of the best in the state.
3rd and 6, quarterback keeper, and Taylor is brought down.
Yeah, huge stop for Westfield, making the Minutemen go 3 and out, and we see Emmett Smith back to return for the Blue Devils.
Drew Ortiz, the senior linebacker, coming up with the stop. So the first drive for Elizabeth just lasts a minute and 20 seconds. Here with 10:40 in quarter number 1. They'll punt this one away. Smith, the junior, awaits the return at his own 26-yard line where he takes the fair catch. And we're going to get to see this Westfield offense, Chris. And they struggled last week, only scoring 1 touchdown. Hank Shapiro finding Stevie Barton on a slant route to open up quarter number 2.
Yeah, and the beginning of that game, Hank threw an interception that was not scored on by Union. But he did settle down, not too many turnovers the rest of the game. I believe there were no turnovers for Hank. There was one. But, he has matured a lot since the beginning of the season. And right now playing, probably in one of the biggest scenarios of his life, he's got to bring his A game.
They gave it to the sophomore, Tim Allegro. Picks up 4 yards on the first play from scrimmage for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Allegro was kind of shut down last week. Not too many, yards that we usually see him. In the first couple of weeks we did see him. A lot of yards. He had that 200-yard game and the another 100-yard game, which is absolutely unbelievable. But last week kind of quieted down, but it's just a hiccup in his season. Unbelievable to his sophomore campaign, and he can just start adding to it in this game.
And Chris, we're seeing Griffin Rooney out there on the bottom left of your screen. We saw him get a couple of plays in last week on the road at Union. He's number 17, and there's Tim Allegro again up the middle, picking up a few to make it 3rd and short for Westfield. Now, the sophomore Seton Prep transfer Rooney will check out of the ball game.
Yeah, bringing in Colin Freer. We usually have seen Westfield run with a 2 tight end offense, with Freer and Norris. But at the beginning of this game, we did see Rooney there. But we also, we're going to see a lot of McDaniel and Barton in there. We saw them a lot last week as Westfield really want to get the passing game going. And they're just the 2 guys you want to throw the ball to. Just great hands, great speed, and that's what you need in a receiver. Smith
in motion. Shapiro rolling to his left on 3rd and 5. And it's incomplete right through the hands of senior Jason Cassett. That's a ball he should have had, Chris.
Yeah, again, time and time this season. Not too many times, but a lot of big times this season. He has dropped a ball that could have gotten him a first down. It was a good ball by Hank, right where it had to be, right at the out of bounds, so he can just get the possession yards. And it's going to force Will Kessler to punt. But yeah, that's a ball Kessler should have come up with.
So Westfield punts it on their first drive. And it'll bounce and then picked up and quickly tackled is the returner.
I believe it is number 8, Gabriel Nash. And that was, there's not a smart decision as Stevie Barton was right there to wrap him up. And Minutemen starting at around their 21-yard line, but another heads-up play by Barton. And he does look like himself after last week's performance. So 1st and 10 here for the Minutemen. Westfield defense back out there, and Mike, their defense looked much better than it did last week.
So they keep it on the ground on 1st down. To the left, picking up a few yards, Drew Ortiz in there making his 2nd stop of the game.
Along with Jordan Simpson, too, Mike, filling in for the injured Matt McIntyre. And Simpson, he looked pretty good last week. He did have that one costly turnover that did allow Union to get closer to the end zone and eventually score. But Simpson, he's holding his own. He's going up against these very experienced receivers, and he's doing a pretty good job.
2nd and 8 with 8.5 to play. Here at High Point Solutions Stadium, LaShane Taylor, we saw him last year. Chris, remember last year they played Jamin Moose, the senior, at just about every one of the skill positions for Elizabeth. And he ended up currently playing at Boston College, Division I ACC football. He played quarterback, running back, receiver, kick returner. So when he was playing at running back and receiver, we saw the sophomore LaShane Taylor get some action in the game last season. Westfield only won 13-7.
Yeah, closest game of the season.
Yeah, it was tied at the half. And then Westfield took that 13-0 lead. Elizabeth got the late score.
Yep.
After the penalty, backs up the Minutemen 5 yards to make it 2nd and 13. Handoff up the middle. Picks up a few yards. That was Nassim Daniels, the 6'2", 230-pound senior. Chris, he's going to play both ways at halfback / receiver and on the defensive side of the ball at linebacker.
Yeah, Mike, he's also another guy on this team with 5 touchdown rushes. It was absolutely phenomenal on 818 yards. He's the guy you want to go to on the goal line, because if he only has 118 yards, that just means he's just, goal line situation. Maybe a couple runs around midfield and back more, but most of the time, he's 6'2", one of the biggest guys on the field. He's definitely going to be in on goal line.
Taylor going to keep it, and he is quickly brought down. Rory McGovern and Jake Valabera on the stop, and they'll force the Minutemen to punt for the second consecutive drive.
Yeah, Valabera and McGovern, they lead the team in sacks, and right there, it wasn't necessarily a sack, but just a great tackle to force Elizabeth to punt the football again. Emmett Smith back at their own 40-yard line. And he's had a pretty good season, returning the ball against Basking Ridge, and I believe it was Franklin, just a couple great returns. And that's because he got a lot of touches last year.
And Smith has a lot of room to his right side, makes one defender miss. Using the stiff arm, and down at the Elizabeth 38, a nice return from Emmett Smith.
Yeah, he uses agility right there. You saw he did break someone's ankles and uses the stiff arm to get a couple more yards. Great field position in Minutemen territory at about the 38-yard line. And Westfield, it's their time to get a touchdown, because if they can do that, take the early lead, and they can set the tone for the game.
So 3 receivers set to Shapiro's left. Allegro in the backfield gets the carry from the shotgun and picks up 3 yards. The sophomore having a tremendous year, Chris, but he's slowed down the past couple weeks at 572 yards coming into this afternoon with 6 rushing touchdowns.
It's absolutely phenomenal. He's beating Jawan Wachter with that 6 touchdowns compared to 5, but still, 980 yards compared to 600, absolutely unbelievable. But still, Allegro, still a great running back, and he's only a sophomore too, so he has a lot of room to improve.
Room to the left for Allegro, still on his feet, and he's brought down just shy of the first down marker. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for this Blue Devil offense, Chris.
Yeah, and right now, we saw a jumbo package last week, but right now, Westfield has gotten it done time and time again, using Allegro to the advantage, just going right up the middle, just getting 1 yard, all you need. But also, Shapiro, only 1 pass play this entire time on the field, and it's probably because, the inexperience out there. Cassett, Smith, and Rooney haven't played only their first season playing together, but Hank has definitely matured as a quarterback.
Allegro has the first down inside the red zone. The sophomore finding his groove early and often here in Piscataway.
Yeah, he's definitely finding the holes. He's so good at doing that, just time and time again, getting the big yardage. And right now, at the Minutemen 16-yard line, first down, it's definitely a time to punch it in, as they have Rooney to bottom of your screen and Smith and Cass at the top.
5 minutes to go in quarter number 1. This time Allegro is brought down quickly by the front unit for Elizabeth.
Yeah, every single play on this drive has been a run play, so they have a lot of confidence in Allegro to get the big yardage, and he's done so already. Picks up a couple yards right there. But, sooner or later they got to mix in a pass, because, this D-line's going to adjust, and that's the time when Hank Shapiro can just roll out to his left or right and find an open receiver. Shapiro has 6 touchdowns on the season throwing the football, and that only came in week 2, and 1 last week, and 2 and 3, none the first week.
Shapiro in trouble, and he is sacked. So a big play from Elizabeth.
Yeah, interesting not seeing McDaniel or Barden out there. Is just a great time to punch the ball into the end zone. But looks like DeSarno's running with his younger squad out there. Smith, Rooney, and Cassidy, senior, but not necessarily too much experience. And 3rd and 11 with about 17 yards to go to the end zone. Let's see what this offense can do.
It was Israel Santana, the junior, with the sack on Shapiro. Quarterback keeper up the middle for Shapiro. Picks up a few yards, but still on his feet, finally brought down at the 15, well shy of the first down, Chris. So Coach DeSarno will go ahead and send out the field goal unit. Aiden Bolin, the senior.
Absolutely fantastic this year. He had that one miss, but other than that, he has put it through the uprights. He's probably his longest field goal of the season, coming in at about 30 yards, excuse me. And if he can convert, get Westfield on the board, but yeah, any points right now can help.
A 32-yarder for Aiden Bolin. And the kick is no good. So a costly miss for Westfield on their second drive of the game.
Yeah, Mike, this defense, they got to step it up. They have done so already throughout this game, but right now just that missed field goal kind of brings the momentum down for them and the confidence. But this defense, they've just been hanging in there, not letting up any big plays. Stevie Barden, first play of the game, great. Knocked on a pass, just great defense right there. And this D-line hasn't let up any big yardage on the ground, as that's the Minutemen are so good at doing. And they're just holding their own, and they're winning the line of scrimmage, what Jake Val wants them to do every single game, because if they do that, they win the game.
So Elizabeth takes over from the 20, and in the backfield, the senior captain, Valabera, is there.
One line of scrimmage right there, getting into the backfield and tackling for a loss. Just a great defensive play by Valabera, and we've seen that time and time again this season by the senior.
Second and 12, with the Minutemen from their own 18.
So it brings up a second and long for the Minutemen, and there's no one in the backfield besides Taylor.
Taylor will run with it and picks up some nice yardage there. Finally brought down just a couple yards shy of the first down to make it 3rd and short. Drew Ortiz with the tackle. And Chris, we mentioned earlier, last year, Westfield winning 13-7 over Elizabeth. The two teams did not play in 2015 or 2014. And then back in 2013, Westfield won 21-14. But back in 2012, the year Elizabeth won the state title, the Minutemen crushed the Blue Devils 45-6. So 3rd and 2. They'll go on the ground and nowhere to go. For Javon Wachter, Drew Ortiz has had a monster afternoon, Chris, already with 4 tackles.
Yeah, not even at the end of the first quarter. That's why he leads the team in second in the team in tackles behind Valabera, but he's absolutely outstanding. And, just 4 great tackles and a couple big stops as well. And Smith again back deep at their own 35-yard line. And if he can do anything like his last punt return, he can get Westfield in great field position.
A good punt out to the 37 and nowhere to go for Emmett Smith as he is quickly wrapped up by John McDaniel, the senior, for the Minutemen. So now this offense will come out there and try it again, Chris. That was Aiden Bolin's first field goal miss, so he's 2 for 3.
Yeah, all been PATs. Yeah, that was my mistake before. It was that prolonged one in Basking Ridge after the penalty.
And he was wide left on that attempt
And right now,
just a few minutes ago.
Stevie Barden checking in the game for Jason Cassett. And Barden this season, 3 touchdown receptions. He's just a great player to have on your offense.
Allegro picking up about 10 yards there. He has been playing really well this afternoon, Chris. And Elizabeth, they need to contain him because he's just one broken tackle away from going the distance and putting the first points of the day on the board.
Yeah, and right now as Adam McDaniels checking in the game, you have 2 great receivers, especially with Emmett Smith, a great receiver on the rise. And with also Allegro, you have all this diversity. You can throw the ball short, throw the ball long, but also you can run the ball with Allegro, just all these different options. As Shapiro drops back and is sacked in the backfield for a loss of 2.
Tajir Tate, the 6', 232-pound junior. on the sack. Second time Shapiro's been sacked.
And the clock is winding down with 14 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Let's see if the Blue Devils can get a playoff before the clock winds down.
Shapiro give it up. Allegro with a nice hole up the middle into Elizabeth territory at the 45-yard line as quarter number 1 comes to an end here in Elizabeth. And we'll be right back on BDTV. So welcome back to quarter number 2. A 3rd and 5 for Westfield at the 45-yard line. Shapiro dropping, taking a shot, looking for Barden, who almost made an incredible one-handed grab with his left arm, but unable to bring it in. And they are going to go ahead and punt this one as they bring out the punting unit. Kessler back on the field for Westfield.
Yeah, and that was a great defensive stop there by Gabriel Nash, just at least getting a hand up, blocking Barden of the view of the ball. And smart decision by Sarno bringing the punting unit because you can pin them back deep. If I was Cuss, angle it more out of bounds so you don't get a touchback. As no one is on Adam McDaniel on the far side of the screen.
And a good punt from Kessler as it bounces, but it'll bounce into the end zone. And as you mentioned, Chris, that was a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that could have been a fake punt.
For a fake punt. The right field position at the Elizabeth 45, and McDaniel had his arm up calling for it.
You can see the coaches, too, screaming.
But Kessler didn't see it, and he sends it away.
Yeah, but
and Westfield's receivers unable to hustle down the field and touch that football before it bounces in the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, because you could see McDaniel was frustrated. He thought, he hesitated a little bit thinking that it could have been a possibility, and no one was on him, but you can just see that very frustrated that Kessler didn't identify him. But right now, this defense has been great all game long. Hasn't let up a first down, I believe, this entire game, and it's just because this D-line's able to contain. These cornerbacks are playing great defense to the pass game, and these middle linebackers are just keeping everything under control, not letting anything get by them.
Taylor will keep it on the read option, only picking up 2 yards. And Shea Elliott, number 43, making his first stop of the afternoon.
Drew Ortiz also on that tackle, 5th tackle on the season, and of the game. And just having a great game. He's keeping Westfield, not the Westfield. These Minutemen running backs contained. Valabera as well, that huge stop before, and McGovern as well, double teaming with Valabera to sack LaShane Taylor.
This Westfield defense has done a nice job, Chris, of containing Javon Walker as he is wrapped up quickly right there.
If Valabera able to get in the backfield again, slow him down, and then Noah Levy and Roy McGovern able to stop him right there, along with, I believe, Joe Sangiacomo. And brings up a 3rd and 9 here for the Minutemen. And, Mike, we were just talking how this Elizabeth team is just so run-heavy, but when you have a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8 situation, it's so hard to run the ball and get a first down, especially the way things are going with them running the ball in this game. And you got to go to the passing. But this season, Taylor only has 250 yards passing, so he's not that experienced when it comes to throwing the pigskin down the field.
3rd and 9 for Elizabeth. Taylor keeps it, makes one man miss, and then a bunch of Blue Devils on the stop. Sangiacomo, Elliott, and Valabera. And Elizabeth has to punt it away. It's been a battle of the defenses, Chris. Neither offense can get much going on.
Yeah, the Westfield defense absolutely outstanding, but this Minutemen defense is just able to contain the passing game. Tim Allegro able to find the big holes, but when they're able to stop that, the passing game is just not there. Westfield's got to develop the passing game to get it going, and for the Minutemen, they have to stop running the ball so often, just get the pass game going, because it's the only way they can just make a dent in this defense.
And Smith will let it go, and Westfield will take over on their own 23.
Good punt there by the Minutemen. Punter able to pin Westfield back deep in their own territory about the 23-yard line.
He actually lost the snap.
Yeah, it was a little by his legs, yep.
Could have been.
Yeah, if his knee touched the ground, it's a dead ball right there. Westfield gets the ball in great field position. And right now, 2 tight ends set out there for the Blue Devils with Cassett and I believe Emmett Smith lone side each way.
So 9.5 here in quarter number 2. Shapiro gives it Allegro up the middle and quickly brought down. Ball came out. At the end, they ruled Allegro down.
Player was ruled down.
Yeah, now these Minutemen defenders, they go for the ball as Tim Allegro comes up limping and Wandsworth House coming into the game. So not a good sign for the Blue Devils as Allegro has gotten most of the yardage for the offense. But going back to that near fumble, before we saw, I believe it was Nassim Daniels trying to strip Hank Allegro when he went up for the quarterback keeper. And he was holding on to it for dear life because those guys are just going at it. And, you know, that's just what's they have to control the ball. And Wandsworth House last year had a couple fumbles. He's got to hold on to the ball.
Shapiro took a big hit, and he had an open receiver down the field. Cassett gets a fingertip on it, but unable to make the catch.
Yeah, so right now it looks like McDaniel and Barden coming into this game. And right there, if that was any of those receivers, probably had a better chance. It looked like Cassett, though, was being held by Nash a little bit near around midfield. Just saw that jersey get a little ripple. But right now, McDaniel and Barden just back in that game. Back in on the offense. Those are the guys you want out there. And we keep saying it time and time again because those are the guys that you need to win this game.
3rd and 11 for Westfield now as Barden is in at receiver at the bottom. Shapiro, a little shovel pass to Colin Freer, only picking up 2 yards though, and Westfield has to punt yet again.
Yeah, that's not a play you run in a 3rd and long situation right there. You got to air that ball out. We have seen the shovel pass work occasionally, but that's, you know, on a 3rd and 4 or a 2nd and 3 short yardage situation. You got to get it at least to the 34-yard line where they were. And right now it brings Kessler back out to punt again as Nash is just stationed right at his 45-yard line to receive the punt.
And that punt is blocked, and it'll be picked up by the Minutemen. They're going to say he's down at the 1-yard line, but a huge play from the special teams unit for Elizabeth, and they should be able to punch it in for a touchdown, Chris.
Yeah, you know, their run game, they have to get a couple yards, and with at the half-yard line, looks like should be able to get it in, but right there, just a huge block and a huge momentum shift for the Minutemen. If they can take a lead in this game, it can really just get the confidence back on their side.
We've seen Westfield block a couple of punts this year and a bunch last season. So important. It's almost an automatic score once you get it.
Yeah, so everyone in the box right now for the Blue Devils.
And they keep it up the middle. Going to be very close.
No signal yet by the official.
Defense comes up with the stop. And excuse me, they're going to give it a touchdown. The quarterback sneak, the junior LaShane Taylor, able to fight his way into the scarlet end zone for the first score of the game. And the Elizabeth 3-2 Minutemen are on top right now, the number 11 team in the state. The 30-game win streak, longest active streak in the state, in jeopardy for a second consecutive week, Chris.
Yeah, and right now Westfield just got to get back out there and make sure that they convert. And the kick is no good, so it's only a 6-0 lead for the Minutemen. And that can come up big, as we saw last week, Mike. Union's kicker not able to convert to tie up the game. And that's what got Westfield the 7-6 win. So Westfield's got to get back out there, make sure that they control the ball, as we saw before. These Minutemen defensive players go after the ball. They go for the tackle, but they always go for the ball first, try to strip that out. And the passing game has to develop more. Hank Shapiro's got to hit his receivers. I let's just hope Tim Allegro's okay, as he's been the biggest component for the Blue Devil offense.
As you said, Chris, a costly extra point missed from Elizabeth. So only a 6-point game. And Westfield finds themselves trailing. We saw week 1 right off the bat. The Linden Tigers return the opening kickoff. Blue Devils, it took them a while, but they were able to respond and ultimately get the win on opening day.
Yeah, so that was huge for the Blue Devils. Obviously to keep the streak alive, but also start the season on a positive note. And Smith and Barton back to receive. We haven't seen Barton yet receive a kick, as this one's kicked again to Emmett Smith.
From about the 13-yard line, Smith taking it down the far sideline, still on his feet, and finally wrapped out of bounds at Westfield Zone 47. Smith continuing to
Absolutely
excel
fantastic.
in the return game.
Yeah, Mike, that just obviously it brings confidence and momentum back to Westfield, but also great field position right around midfield. And right now, this Westfield offense got to get going. Cassett and Smith are the lone receivers out there, and tight ends, Freer and, Norris. And Wanderhouse still in there, so Tim Allegro, hope he's okay, as we said before, big component for this Westfield offense. But if he's okay, he's got to get in there as soon as possible to help this team out.
7:55. There's the pitch to the senior Wandre House on the near sideline, and a big collision with Jabril Harmon. House and Harmon colliding helmet to helmet there.
Yeah, it could have been maybe a flag, because that went him with the head, but also right near the sideline too. That's just a very dangerous situation. They went so far back into the Elizabeth bench, pretty sure knocked down one of their players as well. But nevertheless, picks up 5 yards right there. And that's what Westfield just bounced the ball to the outside as a
timeout is
called.
taken by the Minutemen, Chris. And going back to that last play, we mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Wandre House really likes to carry the football in his right hand, but on the left side, got to be careful. He'll be playing football next season at Gettysburg College for the Bullets in Pennsylvania. He's the only current player that's committed on this football team to play college football.
You're having a few other interests in the players, Shea Elliott too.
There's going to be a bunch
Looking
more.
forward to hear what Val's getting, because probably a lot of D1 AA offers in there. But yeah, probably know by most likely end of the season and so on after that. But yeah, Wandre House, only player to be committed as of now.
And a nice crowd out today for Westfield. The Pink Out, Duffield representing here in Piscataway. 2nd and 6 for the Blue Devils. Football on Westfield Zone 49. Wandre House, number 23, is in the backfield. And he'll get the football, and he is brought down right at the line of scrimmage. A big stop from Nassim Daniels. Mention how he goes both ways, and he was quickly able to break free from the Westfield offensive line and making a nice stop.
Yeah, right now McDaniel and Barton checking back in. And I just got to say, they got to keep staying in there, because they're just the guys, we just keep on saying it. They just get the big yardage. And right now, Westfield needs trailing 6-0. And having McDaniel and Smith at the top of your screen and Barton by himself at the bottom, probable passing situation right now. About a 3rd and 8 for the Blue Devils. And if they can get a touchdown before the half, that's just huge for this offense.
Shapiro pump faking in trouble, and he is sacked by Elizabeth. A good job for the front four for the Minutemen, getting pressure on the quarterback and making the stop.
Yeah, again, Hank Shapiro, the secondary for the Minutemen, just so good at containing these receivers. Hank Shapiro has nowhere to go with it, and he just got to find a way. But sack there for a loss of 4. And Will Kessler, last pump block. This time, just got to be more conscious, but not just for him. This whole line that's guarding him back there. Nearly blocked again.
This one will bounce at the 25 and roll to the 14-yard line, where Elizabeth will take over. Declan McCauley down there on the punt.
Yeah, this defense back out there for Westfield. Just overall a great game. That one play where the Minutemen did score on the 1-yard line. It's very hard to stop a play with only 1 yard, not even that, it was half a yard to stop that. But right now, just a great game. Just blocking the line of scrimmage, not allowing the Minutemen running backs to get through them. And the cornerbacks as well. Barden, McDaniel, and Simpson just great at containing the passing game too.
6:16 remaining in this first half. The defenses have been the storylines. The offenses have really struggled, Chris. It would be 0-0 if not for the block punt, just a 1-yard quarterback sneak for LaShane Taylor.
And let's not forget,
the junior has had a nice ball game so far. No turnovers for this Elizabeth unit, and he's had some nice quarterback keepers and scrambles.
Let's not forget about that one play. McDaniel left wide open on the punt. That could have been a huge change, too. If Will Kessler saw that, threw that to McDaniel, off to the races with only one man to beat, it was Nash, the punt returner. So it could have been a completely different game. And right now, about a 2nd and 6 for the Minutemen with 5:41 to go here in the first half. As there looks like an encroachment on the defense. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty by the defense. Could be about 2nd and 1, if not a first down.
That is a first down for Elizabeth. So just dumb mistakes right there from this experienced Westfield unit, Chris.
Yeah, never really see them with too many penalties.
They really need a turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't seen too many interceptions. Only one interception. That was by middle linebacker Drew Ortiz. And another flag here. Looks like this one's going to go on the offense.
Ortiz's interception came week 2 against Ridge. But, yeah, we haven't seen any picks for McDaniel, for Barden. And the penalty does move Elizabeth back 5 yards. But still first down. Yeah. 1st and 15.
And there hasn't, I don't believe, any fumbles either. And looks like there's going to be a penalty, if not, unless it's a warning, on the Minutemen thrown in that vicinity. Yeah, sideline warning. They got to stay behind the, if anyone can see, behind the second white line closest to the field, or excuse me, the first white line closest to the field.
So after 3 straight plays, after 3 straight penalties, it's 1st and 15 for Elizabeth. Ball at the 19-yard line. Daniels, number 1, with the carry, and just nowhere to go. 20 of 22 players are in that pile right there.
Yeah, and Joe Sangiacomo at the bottom of it, first one on there to bring him down. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 13, or 2nd and 13 for the Minutemen. And like we're just going back to, no turnovers really for Westfield. That one interception by Drew Ortiz. And I don't believe there has been any fumble recoveries either. So the defensive line, absolutely fantastic. The secondary defenders, just swat the ball down. But like compared to last year when they got pick sixes from Ish Glasgow, Stevie Barden, and Ben Kelly coming up with those huge hits, it's not the same as this defense right here. It's just more as a conservative team.
Another run up the middle. That was Javon Wachter, the junior. Short of the first down to make it 3rd and 6. Dayon, the senior captain, making the tackle for Westfield.
Yeah, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for the Minutemen. And right now, if Westfield can just hunker down right here with 3:45 to go with a winding clock here in the first half, a lot of time to get points on the board. And they need that going into the second half as they, I believe, will get the ball back to start the second half.
3rd and 6, Taylor from the play action. He'll try to run with it, but nowhere to go. Valabera, the first one there, along with Rory McGovern and Joe Sangiacomo. And right now, Chris, as Elizabeth will send out the punt unit. This is a crucial possession when Westfield gets this football back. They need to score a touchdown and put some points on the board.
Their first thing,
have some momentum going into the half.
Their first thing, obviously, no turnovers. You don't want to turn the ball over this deep in the first half to make Elizabeth get more points on the board. Second, get the pass game going. If you can find McDaniel or Barden in the open, it'll be a lot easier to start running the ball.
Smith takes it from the 42 and picks up about 4 yards on the return.
And Will Kessler was nearly close to blocking that one. And that would have been huge for the offense. But nevertheless, right at midfield for the Blue Devils. And right now, just the time to get some points on the board. If they can go into the lead, tied or with a 7-6 lead, it'll be huge. 6-3, yeah, points on the board, but you always want to take the lead going to the half. It just brings momentum out for the second. And right now, they got McDaniel and Barden out there with Smith on House in the backfield. So Tim Allegro still sidelined. Not sure what the injury is at the moment. But right now, just got to get points on the board.
2:47, all 3 timeouts. Wandre House able to break away from a couple of tackles and pick up about 5 yards on first down.
And Freer checking in. Oh, you can go, Mike.
As Colin Freer checks in for Tommy Norris, the pair of tight ends that get about equal playing time. Freer, number 84, a sophomore. Tommy Norris, number 87, a junior.
And we have seen Freer get a lot more reps in there at defensive tackle.
This time, Wandre House only picks up 2 yards as he is spun around at the 49. So 3rd and 5 as we approach the 2-minute mark. Still 3 timeouts for Westfield. DeSarno not electing to use one of them because he doesn't want to get stopped here, then 4th down and stop the clock and send it back to Elizabeth. But look for Westfield to use a timeout after they pick up this first down. 12 men on the field. Westfield unable to take advantage of it, though. Shapiro under pressure. Pass complete. Out to Stevie Barden for the first down and brought down at the 36. A big connection. Shapiro to Barden.
But there is
a penalty marker in the backfield.
It's going to be on number 63, Declan McCauley. He didn't think he got a penalty on that one. But that's a huge momentum crusher for the Blue Devils as Barden picked up the first down and more. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Blue Devils. So yeah, definitely not what you wanted right there. And it's going to back them up 10 yards. At the spot of the foul. So that's going to be about 13 yards. So it's about a 3rd and 24. 3rd and 25, excuse me, for the Blue Devils.
1:20 to go here in the first half. 3rd and very long. 3 receivers set for Westfield. Shapiro faking. Has Stevie Barden on the slant. A foot race to the end zone. And Barden is brought down at the 30. A huge play right there to get this Westfield offense rolling and give some life to this crowd, Chris.
Mike, that was just a great play overall. You had the fake with the play action. You had the fake to the bubble screen, and Barden with the beautiful slant over the middle to get what Westfield needed, a first down and a huge momentum shift. And right now, I believe a referee timeout on the field.
It was an injured Minutemen player, but he quickly got up. Might have been just trying to slow the game, slow this drive down. Because as soon as that whistle blew, he came right up and all of a sudden was fine.
Yeah, but looking at that replay, Stevie Barden just able to break into the open field. And 1:05 to go here in the first half. Westfield with the ball at their 30. They got to convert right here to tie this game up or take the lead as Minutemen only have 6 points. And Westfield is 4-0 in their conference, while Elizabeth is at 2-1, 3rd in the conference, with Linden between them at 2-1 as well. And Westfield's 5-0 on the season, Elizabeth 3-2. So Elizabeth, if they get this win, not only do they beat the Westfield Blue Devils, who are currently holding the longest active winning streak in New Jersey, but they also get to 4-2 and bumps them up to 2nd in the conference. And that could be huge. And prolonged timeout. What's going on right now? Looks like the Blue Devils are out there. Minutemen making their way onto the field. And they're keeping Stevie Barden, McDaniel, and Smith on one side of the ball with, not sure if that's Norris or Freer. Looks like Freer, lone side tight end at the top of your screen.
So 1:05 to go. Shapiro rolling to his left. Takes a shot for Adam McDaniel, who had the football, but As the defender came behind him, he lost it going to the ground. Just an unfortunate play right there. I really thought McDaniel was going to bring that one in.
And that was a beautiful buy by Shapiro. Put it right in the breadbasket of McDaniel, but just great defense there by number 10, Jabril Harmon, just able to knock the ball away.
Yeah, McDaniel had the football. He didn't lose it. It got knocked out of his hand, as we just saw on the replay by Harmon, who's had himself a nice game, the senior, at only 5'8", 150 pounds. It's been the spark plug for the Minutemen. A wide open Colin Freer has the first down, and he's tripped up inside at the 15.
Thought it was the NFL for a little bit right there. Thought no one touched him, could bounce right up. But high school rules, down by anything, you're down. So, but picks up the first down, which is good for the Blue Devils, and timeout call, but I believe the Blue Devils. So 50 seconds to go with Westfield at the 17-yard line. And Mike, any words about how Westfield's been doing on this drive?
So 50 seconds remaining here in quarter number 2. Westfield has the football at the 17-yard line in the red zone for the second time this afternoon. Shapiro passes tipped, and Borden comes away with an incredible catch, and he's down at the 3-yard line, deflected at the line of scrimmage, but a strong throw from Shapiro, and then the awareness of the senior Stevie Barden, able to get himself in position and make a tremendous catch.
Are you kidding me? That was absolutely fantastic. Barden just running a simple post route and able to just completely go the opposite direction and come down with the ball with yards after the catch, and puts Westfield in great field position at the 3-yard line. But overall, man, Stevie Barden can do it all right there, able to make a fantastic play to get Westfield inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely unbelievable.
42 seconds remaining after this timeout. Ball is at the 3-yard line, so plenty of time for the Blue Devils, Chris, to get the touchdown, and then they'll have an important extra point afterwards. They make it, they'll be able to take the lead going into the half, and they do get the ball to start out the third quarter.
I'm like, I was just looking at the Jumbotron before and just rewatching the play of Stevie Barden. I'm still mesmerized by the play because I just can't believe that he had that much time to run back to where the ball was falling and able to make the catch. And right now, 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Jumbo package in there with Valabera at quarterback and Ortiz and Elliott in front of him. Now's the time to punch it into the end zone.
Here we go. Valabera to his right has room, and he walks into the end zone to tie the ball game as the first half, winds down. A huge touchdown for Jake Valabera and this Westfield offense. And Aiden Bolin now look to regroup and give Westfield the lead.
Yeah, great run by Valabera, able to bounce, nothing in front of him, able to bounce to the outside and go right up the gut, right to the outside to make the touchdown run. And Bolin's kick is blocked, so it looks like that Westfield will be going into the half tied. But nevertheless, Valabera's touchdown puts him on the board, and that's exactly what the Blue Devils needed.
That's another great stop right there from the Elizabeth Special Teams unit, already with a blocked punt and a blocked field goal, blocked extra point in this first half. So, and they're the only reason Elizabeth has that touchdown up there.
Because their offense really hasn't been doing anything. Their run game, not there. Passing game, definitely not there. And if Westfield can adjust, make sure that they block the guys on the special teams unit, like where they have to be, and, make sure that Kessler has enough time to punt the ball down the field, or Aiden has enough time to get the kickoff. Westfield could be leading this game. It could be, 7-0, not 6-6 going into the half. And with 36 seconds to go, looks like the Minutemen only have been running the ball, so to get down the field in that amount of time is just very unlikely. So if I were them, I would just sit on the ball, go into the half. But again, they don't have the ball to start the second half, so it's very up in the air what they're going to do.
Squib kick recovered at the 26-yard line, And yeah, no timeouts remaining for Elizabeth, so they might just kneel it and go into the half content, tied with the number 11 team in the state, the number 16 team in the tri-state area, and the owner of the longest win streak in New Jersey at 30 consecutive victories.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Just that great milestone. And yeah, if they can get this one today, especially, getting that huge win, but also, getting a win in a great stadium like High Point Solution, just absolutely phenomenal. They can add that, 2 wins at MetLife, a win here, just great to put on, anything you want, basically.
So they will run it to the outside. Walker has some room, picks up the first down, and finds his way to the 46. Clock will stop momentarily to move the chains, but no timeouts. So the Minutemen will run up to the line of scrimmage, and they should spike it, which they will. So it'll be 2nd and 10 with 22 seconds at the 47.
Yes.
They don't have a great field goal kicker, as we saw, Chris. The missed extra point for Elizabeth, not blocked. So they're really going to need a Hail Mary pass with just 22 remaining.
Yeah, and that was probably, the biggest run of the game. Just a great 20, 25-yard run for the Minutemen. And right now, right around midfield, still in that power I formation, as the ball is handed off again.
Trying to get out of bounds, and he's successful as Walker, but only picks up a yard.
Okay, so 16 seconds to go, 3rd and 9 for the Minutemen. And right now, they have Simpson, McDaniel, and Barden in the secondary, have been all game. And if they do throw the ball up, we saw McDaniel, last time, got an interception. MetLife Stadium actually had 2, that pick 6 and that 1 to go into the first half. So you want him playing back there. Also, Barden 2, couple picks last year, and Simpson on the rise as a great corner.
So Elizabeth continues to run the football. As we mentioned in our intro, they love to run the ball. 980 yards for Walker in just 5 games. But this will be the last play, and they're not even able to get the snap off. So an interesting first half, Chris. Not a lot of offense here in Piscataway, New Jersey at High Point Solution Stadium. 6-6. The score at the end of 24 minutes of football. What do you want to see from this Westfield team when they come out of the locker room for the third quarter?
Well, first, I hope Tim Allegro's okay. If you get him back in there, it brings back the power running game and also your best rusher. But also, you got to see the pass game more. We saw Hank Shapiro, that great ball to Adam McDaniel that was batted down, but still a good pass overall. That slant to Stevie Barden. And before you know that inadvertent completion to Barden again. But you just got to get the passing game going. If you do that, you're going to win this game. And also, one last time, for the defense, if they just keep playing the way they are, just limiting the rush game, they'll win the game as well.
So Westfield and Elizabeth all locked up at 6, a 30-game win streak in jeopardy here in Piscataway. We'll have the second half coming right up on BDTV. So welcome back here to Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey at High Point Solution Stadium. Michael Lenier alongside Chris Witzel here and our cameraman Dominic Murillo as the Westfield Blue Devils are looking to extend their winning streak to 31 consecutive games, with the Minutemen of Elizabeth giving them a run for their money, as that's going to go out of bounds, and Westfield will start off with great field position.
Yeah, during halftime, I did see the Minutemen punters trying to scrib it right there. Too much on, and Westfield's going to get great field position at their 40-yard line. And let's hope they can pick up right where they left off. A great touchdown run by Jake Valabera. And before that, there were great receptions by Stevie Barden. One slant over the middle and another one, a crazy catch off a deflection. And that's what they needed to get in the end zone. But right now, Westfield starting with Cassett, Smith, and Rooney at receiver. And Wandre House still in the backfield, meaning Tim Allegro looks like the injury is more serious than we thought. And House looks like he's going to go throughout the rest of this game, as Allegro probably get a lot of medical attention during the half.
There's Wandre House, and quickly brought down Nassim Daniels had a good first half, Chris, and he makes that first stop.
Yeah, I mean, the guy can do it all. He's kind of like Jabril Peppers. He can play the safety position. He can play linebacker, and he can blitz. And we've seen him before. Just make a couple good defensive stops, and right there makes another one. And looks like Stevie Barden and Adam McDaniel back out there at wide receiver for Rooney and Cassett.
House gets another carry and breaks free. Wandre House into Elizabeth. Field position and a great run for the senior Gettysburg commit.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic run by House. Finds the open hole and able to take it 20 yards for a first down. Inside Minutemen territory, that's what Westfield needed. And right now just filling in for the injured Tim Allegro, and House doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And just making a statement saying that he's back and he's able to run this football, and he's hoping to get more touches. It's like Daniel motions, make a trips left at the top of your screen.
There's the flip to Wandre House and wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play to make it 2nd and 10. Just a minute underway here in the third quarter. Westfield, though, offense moving very well. And, Chris, what do you think Coach DeSarno is telling this team in the locker room at half? Very long halftime break.
Yeah, it was very prolonged, usually longer than we usually have one. But, yeah, he's probably telling them, just relax out there. You know, it's a big game, playing against Elizabeth, a great team, and we just got to stay in it. Defense, keep doing your job. And Hank's just having a great job as Stevie Barton drops the ball, coming incomplete, wide open, just hit him on the left side shoulder pad, and that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Blue Devils. Same play we saw before, the play action, the bubble screen fake, and the quick slant to Barton. Just can't come up with it right there. As Valabera checks back into the game for Shapiro at quarterback.
Valabera had the rushing touchdown at the end of the second quarter to tie this game up for Westfield. And we saw him a lot against Linden, Chris, back in week 1, but they haven't used him too much at the Wildcat. And he keeps it here up the middle, going downhill, picking up about 6 yards.
Yeah, so that's going to bring up a 4th and 5. It looks like the punting unit will come out here. Pretty smart decision, you know, right near midfield, but Will Kessler got to get that punt off quick, as this Minutemen special teams unit has been very busy and very active all day, blocking 1 field goal and a punt earlier to set up them for their only touchdown. And he's got to angle it towards the sideline because Nash, you know, very speedy back there, but also, you know, wants to ping him back deep, not for a touchback at the 20-yard line.
Nash awaits the punt from Kessler. It's a good one and low. And he'll bounce it and touch it, an Elizabeth player. The ball is still loose.
Bottom of the pile, not sure who's got it, but yeah, that bounced off number 10 of Elizabeth, Jabril Harmon, and the ball was kicked around for a little bit. Some Westfield players pointing that it's their ball, but it looks like Elizabeth has come up with it.
And the Minutemen do retain possession, but that could have been a huge turning point in this ball game, Chris. Wasn't even the original punt returner just going back.
Yep.
Wasn't paying attention, hits the bottom of his leg, and ball was loose, and then it was loose again after it hit another Elizabeth player. But finally the Minutemen able to fall on top of it.
Yeah, that could have been
and their offense comes out
for the
first time in this second half. We saw LaShane Taylor and this Minutemen team do what they were expected to do, run the football, even in a situation with under a minute to go where you would think they would start passing it. They keep the ball on the ground. So Westfield knows what's coming from from this Elizabeth team, and their strong suit for Westfield is that front four, Chris.
Absolutely. You know, you got Senji Como, Levy, McGovern, and Valabera, a couple of the biggest guys on the team. They've just been limiting the run game all day in the secondary as well. Nothing gets by them pass-wise or just anyone getting by them in general. And this middle linebacking core, Drew Ortiz and Shea Elliott, big days. Drew Ortiz had 5 tackles alone in the first quarter, and Shea Elliott just coming up on the huge stops on every single play. That's what they need from these veteran players on this defense. And right now, pick up a 4 by the Minutemen makes it 2nd and 6 with 9:07 to go here in the third quarter.
Two receivers set for Elizabeth. They keep it on the ground.
Walker on the carry.
A gain of a couple for Javon Walker, and he's brought down
Jordan Simpson on the
by
tackle.
Jordan Simpson, the junior linebacker.
That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 for the Minutemen. And like we saw before going into the half, Javon Wachter had that big gain, about 20, 25 yards that put the Minutemen right at midfield. And, that was probably because, Westfield thought nothing big was going to happen. But right now, again, just limiting it down only a couple yards, first play, couple yards a second. And right now, 3rd and short, Westfield's just been so good at getting 3rd down stops all day.
High snap, and Wachter is brought down. A good stop from Westfield. A couple of the defenders in the area.
Will Kessler on the tackle.
Will Kessler and Jordan Simpson there. Bringing down Javon Wachter.
And again, Westfield, another huge stop, and Will Kessler, the sophomore, coming up with a tackle. And Emmett Smith back deep. We saw him once today, had that great return on a punt and another great return on a kick for about 40 yards, 45 yards. And where he's positioned, again, looks like great field position for the Blue Devils. The high but short
punt,
kick.
And Emmett Smith will take a fair catch at the 44. So great field position, as you just said, Chris. You really want to see Westfield's offense capitalize. Only 44 yards to go for the touchdown. We saw Jason Cassett break loose a couple times, but just couldn't bring in the catch.
Yeah, one definitely should have been caught. The other one, a little bit of a hold there, not necessarily called. But McDaniel and Barden back out there at the wide receiving core. Looks like they're going to go the rest of this game until, Westfield gets that substantial lead, as they've both been a factor. Barden with that two huge catches, and McDaniel as well, just a great all-around player.
House has nowhere to go as he is brought to the ground
Andre House on the carry.
quickly in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Yeah, it looks like just the run game up the middle is not really doing too much. We did see House break one for a good, solid 5-yard gain before on his first run of the second half. But again, nothing really going, as you don't have Tim Allegro, that power back who can just lower the shoulder and just run right through you and find the big hole. And House, he has that capability of doing it, but he has, that more agility, more speed to bounce to the outside, so Westfield has to capitalize on that with Allegro out.
2nd and 11 after the tackle for a loss by Israel Santana. Shapiro has an open Colin Freer, who makes a diving catch to bring up 3rd and 1.
Intended for Barden, but Freer, just probably the route he was still running, able to fully extend, make a great diving catch, and looks like there's an Elizabeth player on the field. But, yeah, great play by Freer. We saw him make a couple good catches a few weeks ago against Watchung Hills, a great fully extended one-handed catch, and right there, full extension body, just great catch. And with 6:34 to go in the third quarter, we'll stay right with you.
Third and 1 for Westfield. Ball on the 35. They'll probably go for it if they can't convert. Wandre House. It is going to be very close depending on the spot and the forward progress that House had.
Yeah, Valabera in there at quarterback again, just another read option play, and it looks like where they spotted the ball, it's going to be a referee timeout, probably bring the chain gang in here to get it.
They will bring out the chains. Ball is at the 34. As you see it right there on the middle of your screen.
And first
and it is
down.
good enough for a Westfield first down.
So you want your house just enough to get the first down for the Blue Devils. And it looks like same crew back out there to start with the ball at the Minutemen, 34-yard line. And it looks like they have Freer, McDaniel, and Smith all on one side, but Freer extended wide as a wide receiver. First time seeing that this season.
Valabero Wide open up the middle. Walks into the end zone. And Westfield takes the lead. A 34-yard touchdown for the senior, Jake Valabera.
Yeah.
12-6 Westfield.
Another great run by Valabera, that one before to go into the first half, end of the first half. And right there, just a great QB draw for a 35-yard touchdown run, longest run by a quarterback this season, and just puts Westfield up 12-6. And if Bolin can convert, a one-touchdown lead for the Blue Devils, and that run definitely got momentum back on their side.
Macaulay on the snap, Emmett Smith with the hold, and Aiden Bolin converts the extra point, so Westfield leads it 13-6 with 5:44 to go in the third quarter. Everyone in this stadium, Chris, if you're a Westfield fan, nice sigh of relief.
Oh, absolutely, because, longest winning streak in New Jersey, that's definitely a lot of added pressure to keep that going. But yeah, right there, Valabera with the second touchdown run of the game, definitely going to take some stress off those shoulders. And, right now, just enjoy the game a little bit, because last week, again, that whole game was just a battle between the defenses. And, right now, same thing, but Westfield takes this lead. And if they can carry this out throughout the rest of this game with no score going back both ways, be the exact same score as last year, except 1 point less for the Minutemen, but still a very big defensive battle for both teams. But Westfield does pull ahead with 5:44 to go in the third quarter.
Will Kessler, the sophomore, will send it away. The Blue Devils in control right now, 13-6. And it'll bounce at the 15 and finally picked up by Walker. He's going to change fields and not really do much there. He'll lose a couple yards on the return and a big stop.
Great tackle there by Sean Dwyer, able to get to the legs of Walker. And first time hearing Sean Dwyer's name out there, the backup to Drew Ortiz and Chaley at middle linebacker, senior playing all his life, and makes a great tackle right there to pin the Minutemen deep in their own territory.
As you see that replay, Sean Dwyer, the senior linebacker, coming up with the stop.
And it looks like they put Emmett Smith in at safety and shifted McDaniel over to corner. So it looks like Stevie Barden is out for the moment. And yeah, it looks like a couple yards gained right there by the Minutemen, making it 2nd and 7. But Mike, seeing Smith out there at safety, bit of a surprise, as hasn't played a second of defense all season.
Yeah, Adam McDaniel at corner right now for the Blue Devils. Simpson, the opposite side corner on the bottom of your screen. And Emmett Smith, the lone safety. 2nd and 7. Under 5 minutes here in the third quarter. LaShane Taylor finally going to air one out. And Adam McDaniel goes up with one hand and almost comes away with an incredible interception.
Yeah, another great defensive play right there by McDaniel, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for the Minutemen. But just going back to that play, McDaniel staying with the Minutemen receiver the whole time and able to make another great play, able to knock it down as McDaniel checks back in at cornerback. But going back to Smith playing safety, we haven't seen that since, I believe, Jack Shirk came into the game to play safety in the state championship this past season, just to get, some extra hands and speed in there in case of a big play that was going to happen.
Third and 7 now for Elizabeth after the long incompletion up the middle. A nice gain of about 5, but it is short. And Minutemen are going to have to punt this one away.
No, Mike, it's a first down. It's going to be a first down for the Minutemen. And right now, ball at their own 29-yard line. Taylor back to the huddle after receiving the play. We have 4:20 to go here in the third quarter with the Minutemen with the ball at their own 24. And they have two receivers, twins to the right side, at the top of your screen.
Taylor rolls out to his right, and he'll run with it. There might be a hold penalty marker in the backfield. Still on his feet, finally pushed out of bounds by Kessler near the 47.
And there's clearly a holding penalty on number 72 of the offense, Jackson Ramirez, the junior guard. And he just took Jake Valabera and just basically laid on top of him the whole time. And it's going to push the Minutemen back further after a huge pickup by Taylor on the run. Excuse me.
So it'll move Elizabeth's offense back 10 yards to their 14-yard line. As we approach the 3:45 mark here in quarter number 3. 1st and 20. Two receivers to LaShane Taylor's right. And Walker in the backfield gets the carry, but nowhere to go. Westfield's defense has been there all afternoon, Chris, stopping Javon Walker, who's surpassed 1,000 yards in this game over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a great milestone. And, with that, with 5 touchdowns included, it's a great campaign. And only being a junior, it's a lot more ways to get better for next year's season. But nevertheless, he has been getting contained big time by this Westfield team. Averaging 200 yards a game and only having about, 50 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's a big sign this Westfield team has contained the junior running back.
Taylor again runs with it up the middle, but nowhere to go. Drew Ortiz on the stop.
And Drew Ortiz again's name being mentioned. Definitely the leader in tackles for the Blue Devils in this game. Just making another one right there. Brings up a third and 14 for the Minutemen. And Mike, we have seen a couple long balls, but most of the time just been knocked down by these Westfield defensive back players. And they Minutemen have to find a way, just get the first down. You're not airing it out, having McDaniel, Barden, and Simpson covering their receivers, just maybe yak from yards off the catch from one of their receivers on a swing route.
They again keep it on the ground, and Jordan Simpson with a crushing hit right there on the Elizabeth sideline. And Chris, in my opinion, poor decision by Elizabeth's head coach Jameel Jackson. You got to throw the football.
Yeah, that was,
even if it's not your strong suit, you got to throw the football.
Yeah, 3rd and long. When do you run?
It's not working. Hasn't worked at all the entire game for Elizabeth.
But nevertheless, great tackle there by Simpson. Comes up limping a little bit, but just a huge hit on Wachter, and that's going to bring out the punting unit for the Minutemen. Smith again back deep. A lot of punts for him to receive this game.
And Smith will take it at his own 38. A nice return into the Westfield 47.
Yeah, smart plays to dive right there. Get the extra yardage needed just to get across midfield. And right now, if Westfield can get a touchdown right here, blow this game wide open and go into the fourth quarter with the substantial lead. And right now, it's the time to do it because just you have the momentum right after that big play to get the punt. 1:19 to go. You just got to get the ball down the field as Smith and Kessler in at running back. Wandre House still in the game, so it is likely that Tim Allegro's day is over at running the football. And that's a shame because he did have a lot of nice runs earlier in this game before his injury.
Yeah, going back to week 1, obviously Wandre House, the original starter for this football team, but then he goes down with injury as he breaks away from the first tackle, then hit from behind. Gain of about 4. So House gets hurt week 1. He has to sit the remainder of that game and then sit against Ridge. and Franklin. But Tim Allegro steps in and just goes off for 200 yards back-to-back weeks. He gets the starting job. He's at over just around 600 yards now in the season. But he gets hurt, so we'll see what Wandre House does in response.
As Rooney and Barden check in for the game.
House again up the middle is shy of the first down marker to bring up about 3rd and 2.
Yeah, House, he's getting the job done. You know, he's just picking up those gains that are going to get you a first down and a solid 5-yard gain right there. You know, puts Westfield in better position as a referee timeout on the field. And looks like they're going to let the clock wind down to end the 3rd quarter.
So quarter number 3 comes to an end here at High Point Solution Stadium. Jake Valabera, a 34-yard quarterback keeper up the middle. Wide open up the middle goes Valabera in the middle of quarter number 3. And Westfield takes the lead. They lead it 13-6, 4th quarter coming right up. So welcome back here to Rutgers. The Blue Devils trying to extend their win streak and extend their lead right now as the ball came out. Shapiro lost the football, but I believe Westfield did recover. It was McCauley, the younger McCauley, Declan, falling on top of that football. Shapiro had about a 10-yard run up the middle there and then got stripped away. Ball was loose, and nice heads-up play from the sophomore, Declan McCauley.
And you could tell a couple,
saving the drive.
All those Elizabeth coaches were so mad that they couldn't get the ball because it was right there in front of them. McCauley able to fall on it.
House up the middle on 1st and 10. Picks up 4.
And Valabera back in there at quarterback. Pretty sure that was Hank Shapiro's like 3rd or 4th designed run play of the season. And, you know, just the inexperience not running the ball too much just comes out on the run. So Valabera in there at quarterback. Only have seen him run the ball today on read options. But with deuces both sides, wouldn't be surprised for him to throw the football as he's done so a couple times in practice.
Valabera again on the keeper on the read option and powering his way to the 20-yard line for the first down.
The kid's a workhorse. Just runs right through the middle of the defense, breaks off one tackle and picks up the first down, just doesn't give up on the play. And that puts Westfield in even better field position right now at their Minutemen's 21-yard line. And about 11 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Westfield winning 13-6 and right now marching down the field. As they have McDaniel lone side top of your screen and Smith and Barden deuces bottom.
House has it up the middle, still on his feet, and wrapped up just a yard shy of the first down. Could have been a horse collar, but no penalty marker on the tackle. House wrapped up from the neck and from behind.
Yeah, there's been a lot of high tackles today. I saw before Tim Allegro brought down around the neck area and House right there. You know, doesn't look like a horse collar, but again, just around the area, it's kind of hard to see. As right now they have Smith and Barden at the bottom of your screen, and I believe it is Tom Norris and Adam McDaniel at the top. Excuse me, Griffin and Rooney.
Valabera keeps it. This time Elizabeth's defense is there to stop Valabera, only a gain of 3 yards to bring up 3rd and short, just 1 yard is what Westfield needs on this 3rd down.
And looks like we're going to bring in
Shapiro will come back on the field.
They're going to bring in the jumbo package, and they're going to have Elliott, Ortiz, and Valabera all in the backfield. 3 great defensive players, 3 of the biggest guys on this team.
Hand off to Valabera, and he does have the first down, it looks like.
Yeah, when you have those 2 guys in the backfield, no way that that one defense is going to be able to stop them, especially with Valabera running the ball. He just knows how to get the first down, lower his shoulder, and just plow right through the line, push the pile, being the ball carrier. And it brings up a 1st and 10 with the first down mark. Right the line, excuse me, it will be 1st and goal at the 10-yard line.
So Westfield trying to break this ball game open, make it a 2-score game. They would much rather prefer the touchdown. Valabera back under center. This time he gives it up to House, and they'll lose a couple yards there.
Yeah, it's been all run plays this drive as Shapiro checks back into the game. Wouldn't be surprised, just throw the ball up right now. Just try to get the passing game going. A couple good catches by Barden in the first half. No one's really too busy catching the ball in the second. And right now, they have their best receivers out there, Smith, McDaniel, and Barden. And be a great time to throw the ball as they've been running the whole time with House and Valabera. Just throw it up. It could surprise the defense.
2nd and goal from the 15 and make it 3rd and goal from the 20. Shapiro is sacked for a loss of 5. And now, Chris, you got to wonder, outside of Boland's field goal range probably from the 20, it would be a ball at the 19, so a 36-yard field goal. They can't get anything on this 3rd down.
Well, again, it's 3rd down and goal from the 20, so there's no first down to pick up, so they got to get a shot to the end zone. But even if they don't, just a quick maybe 10-yard post or 15 yards just to get them in range to try to go for the 4th and goal touchdown as Smith is in motion.
Shapiro, play action, a screen pass is tipped and intercepted.
Wow.
And right there, credit Shapiro, a touchdown saving tackle. If he puts his head down, that ball is going the other way for a pick 6, but he quickly is able to wrap up the defender who makes a really athletic play after the deflection.
Wow. Just a tip drill, and number 15
right there
with the interception, Israel Santana coming up with the pick, and that's a huge momentum shift as Westfield looks like they were driving all the way down the field, and right now with the ball in decent field position at their own 34-yard line, now is the time for the Minutemen to get into the end zone with 7:28 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Israel Santana coming up with a huge play, the junior. LaShane Taylor wanted to take a shot down the field. Instead, he scrambles up the middle to about the 47 and has an Elizabeth first down. Really see the acceleration, the change of speeds right there. Taylor really thought about chucking it down the field, had a receiver down there, Jabriel Harmon.
And
Decides to run with it, and I guess he made the right decision.
Drew Ortiz coming up with another big stop right there. If he wasn't there, Taylor was off to the race with McDaniel, the safety. Right now it's 1st and 10 for the Minutemen.
Walker slipped, able to get back on his feet and move the ball to the 50-yard line.
And Mike, like many games that Westfield's played this season, this game is going by pretty quick, especially in the 4th quarter, as that clock just winding down. Both teams taking time, just running the football. And it's going to bring up 2nd and 6 for the Minutemen. And what looked like it was going to be another touchdown for the Blue Devils quickly changed on them with the pick from Israel Santana.
$6:15 to go. 2nd and 6. Taylor, the triple option, gives to Walker, and the ball is loose. It is still out, and Westfield recovers. Will Kessler, the sophomore, comes out of the pile. A huge turnover. The Minutemen give it right back to the Blue Devils. And Chris, I don't think Westfield's going to have another turnover.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, they just got to hold on to the ball, be protective with it. And we were talking before how Westfield needs a turnover in this game just to get momentum on their side. Drew Ortiz only with the lone interception this season, And right there, Will Kessler recovers the fumble and gets Westfield the ball back. Just a huge turn of events. And right now, Shapiro's got to be protective throwing the balls. He had that interception before. Wandre House has got to cover up that ball when he's running. Just make sure no more turnovers, especially this deep in enemy territory.
There's House taking a big hit.
House on the carry.
And Chris, going back to that fumble, it came out two separate times. Elizabeth was about to recover it, and then all of a sudden somebody got a cleat on there, and it
The
just
ball just
bounced
flew up in the air.
about 10 yards. Because the Minutemen, they were going to be the first ones to the football when it originally came out.
And especially, too, on a fumble, I mean, if it's inadvertently kicked forward or backward, the ball is placed where it was recovered. So, I mean, it could have definitely been a first down and a big gain for the Minutemen.
Shapiro using the read option. He picks up the first down. He'll take a big hit, but able to get up quickly.
Yeah, there was a good run by Shapiro with the read option play as Valabera is checking into the game for Wandre House, and they'll bring up a 3rd and 3 for the Blue Devils. But Shapiro, not really seen him run the ball too often, gets good yardage right there. So referee timeout is on the field.
As we'll step aside here on BDTV, 4:53 to go. Westfield ahead, 13-6. 3rd and 3 for Shapiro and the Blue Devils at their own 36. Valabera gets the carry. Ball apparently came out at the end. Elizabeth saying they have the football.
And the referees are saying that he was down on the field, and looked like where they marked him down was enough for the first.
It is Westfield ball and a first down. So a couple of close calls and some sloppy football here in this fourth quarter, Chris.
Yeah, a lot of loose balls on the ground, and both teams just very frustrated themselves. Elizabeth hoping to get the ball back, and Westfield very scared that almost lost the ball again. And right now, that did pick up the first down. And Smith and Cass is still out there as the receivers. Norris and Freer at tight end with House in the backfield.
4:18 to go. Both teams with 3 timeouts. House has nowhere to go. And the ball comes out. And Elizabeth says that Elizabeth picked up the football. But was the runner down is the question.
And again, Mike, you're right. Very sloppy play all the way around. They're saying that forward momentum, House had the ball and was down.
They rule that he was down, and that is a huge break for Westfield. We'll see if we could get a replay, but either way, the call's not getting changed.
And Valabera does check back in for House.
The Blue Devils have to hold on to the football.
And what House did that was very costly last season was fumble the ball, did it right there, but not necessarily a fumble, but the ball still came out, and you just got to do better at protecting that ball, as this Minutemen team has been going for the ball all afternoon.
2nd and 17. There's run up the middle. That's Valabera. Picks up a few yards. Still 3rd and 15, though. Minutemen are...
Clock is still rolling, but there is a timeout called on the field. And it is called by Elizabeth. So what the clock looked like was winding down. Stopped at 3:29 to go in the 4th. And Mike, right now, 3rd and 15. If I were Westfield, I would take the shot down the field, get the first down. If they don't, punt the ball away. Sure, it does give them the added pressure of having another turnover with an interception. But again, so does running the football, as we've seen in the past couple of plays in the first 5 minutes. So 3:29, 13-6, Westfield leading And 3rd and 15, you just got to get the ball out from where you are right now at their own 35-yard line. And it looks like Stevie Barton's checking back into this game with Valabera and Shapiro in the backfield. And Cassett and Smith along with Barton at wide receiver, with Tommy Norris in at tight end.
So here we go, 3rd and 15 for Westfield. Shapiro dropping back, gonna throw, and that has to be pass interference.
Wow.
But no flag on the field. Colin Freer cannot believe it. And Chris, that's what you call a makeup call, in my opinion. Because
absolutely.
I think the officials knew that was a fumble on Westfield a couple minutes ago, and that was clearly right in front of this main official.
You could see him reach for his flag, then not go for it. It could have gone both ways, though. You know, it could have been that Freer couldn't have gone for it, but the defender, I believe it was Harmon. Gabriel Harmon was playing defense on Freer and did definitely pull him down, but right now Kessler to punt, and there's already been one punt blocked by the Minutemen today, and almost another.
Kessler gets this one off at the 34. Fair catch signaled, but the returner doesn't take it, and it'll be down at the 31 with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to play here at High Point Solution Stadium at Rutgers in Piscataway. The Blue Devils just a little over 3 minutes away from getting their 31st consecutive victory, the longest winning streak in the state, back from 1968 to 73. The famous 48-game unbeaten streak that Westfield football had. There was 2 ties in between that 48-game span, Chris. The longest streak they had of just wins was 36, 48-game unbeaten. All these 30 games have been victories for this current Blue Devil squad. Taylor has absolutely nowhere to go as he's taken out by the legs by Valabera and Shea Elliott.
Yeah, just this middle core of defenders for Westfield have just been busy all day. Drew Ortiz has been all over the field making tackles. Shea Elliott has been in on as many tackles as Ortiz. And Valabera and McGovern just plugging up the hole. Valabera with a couple sacks here today. And McGovern and San Giacomo just coming up with huge stops. And Noah Levy as well getting in there. But this defensive not special teams unit, defensive backcourt has been doing a great job as well.
Wachters making a couple defenders miss down at the 39, where it'll be 3rd and 2. Dayon coming up with a stop for Westfield. The Blue Devils are back in action Friday night at Immaculata on October 20th, and Elizabeth will return home on Friday night to take on the Plainfield Cardinals.
And 3rd and 2 to go with 2 minutes exactly to go left in this ball game, as 2 receivers are on the bottom of your screen.
The Minutemen get the first down. It's the senior, Nassim Daniels, using his 6'2", 230-pound frame to pick up 4 yards and the first down for Elizabeth. So fresh set of downs. Under 2 to go, 1:45, 2 timeouts to go. Elizabeth needs a touchdown and an extra point to send this thing to overtime. Pass is complete out to Tasim Hicks, the junior, with his first catch of the game. Hasn't been too many pass attempts by this Minutemen team.
No. Yeah, Jake Valabera told me earlier this week that the Minutemen only throw the ball at only 2-3 times in the first half. They're a little bit more today, but not nearly as much as Westfield does.
Daniels gets the carry, has himself a first down. 1:11 to go as the clock will stop momentarily to move the chains. And Elizabeth is quietly driving down the field right now. Ball's at the Westfield 42 with 65 seconds remaining. 1st and 10. LaShane Taylor, the junior, trying to make a name for himself. He's going to scramble near sideline, pushed out of bounds after he picks up a few pushed by Jake Dayon.
Yes, that's going to stop the clock with 54 seconds to go in this game. It's going to be 2nd and 6 for the Minutemen.
54 seconds remaining. 2nd and 6 for Elizabeth. They're 3-2 on the year. They blew out Hillsborough and Union and a good win against Hunterdon Central last week. Trying to shock the state of New Jersey, but right now they're trying to force overtime. Taylor drops, screen pass to Walker, but he put his hand on the turf, and that is he's down by rule.
You know, his knee touched the ground, so that's going to keep the clock going.
But they will call a timeout.
Yeah.
That's their 2nd timeout of the half. Just 1 remaining for the Elizabeth Minutemen. Coach Jameel Jackson talking with his offense. A young offense led by Taylor, the junior quarterback, and the star running back who Westfield's defense has really kept in check this afternoon, Chris, Javon Walker.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just keep saying 1,000 yards surpassed in this game, 5 touchdowns, and, you know, that's absolutely fantastic. But this Westfield defense have shut him down. Nowhere near 200 yards rushing, and I don't believe a single touchdown to his credits today. And it's just because this forefront on the defensive line just have been stopping him all day. This middle linebacker course keeping him contained, and this defensive special backs unit has just limited the passing game. Only, I believe, 2 completions the whole day for Taylor, and 3rd and 12 for the Minutemen. This is a big moment in the game.
They lost 2 yards on that screen pass. Taylor rolling to his right, and the pass is almost caught, but it's incomplete. It would have been an acrobatic highlight reel catch by number 6, Kequan Jamison.
That ball, you see, try to pin it against Jake Dayon. We saw that, I believe, on SportsCenter Top 10 a few years ago with Stanford. One of their receivers pinned it against a defensive player for a touchdown. And right there could have done the same exact thing. And that brings up a 4th and 12. Westfield gets stopped here. Game is absolutely over. And if Minutemen convert, only 1 timeout to go and 36 seconds left in this ball game.
So here we go. 36 seconds remaining. A 4th and 12 for Elizabeth at the 44-yard line. Down 7. Taylor breaks loose. Decides to run with it. Has a first down. And he goes out of bounds at the 27. A gutsy decision from LaShane Taylor. He knew he had to beat it. 1 defender if he wanted the first down. Decides to run with it. Jukes out Jake Dayon. And with 28 seconds remaining, Elizabeth is 27 yards away from tying this game. But remember, Chris, they missed that extra point in the 2nd quarter. They're going to have to convert. Taylor has time. Decides to go up the middle, and Rory McGovern lays a huge shot on Taylor. And now head coach Jackson is forced to call his final timeout.
Great sack there by McGovern, and that was probably one of the biggest plays of this game, as Taylor could have gotten by him. It was just green grass ahead of him, obviously a first down and perhaps a touchdown, but McGovern coming up with a huge sack to force Elizabeth to use their last timeout. 15 seconds to go with 2nd and 11. And like, if Elizabeth doesn't get out of bounds with the ball still in play, it's going to be hard to get back to the line. Obviously, a spike is useful, but a lot of time will wind off that clock.
So here we go. 2nd and 11 for LaShane Taylor and his Elizabeth offense. This Elizabeth offense, Chris, they have to thank their special teams unit, because that's the only reason they're in this position.
Yep.
No timeouts remaining for Elizabeth. They have 3 receivers to Taylor's right. Got to get it out quick. Looking in the end zone, and it's intercepted. Stevie Barton has the football, and that is the ball game. 31 in a row for the Westfield Blue Devils. Another hard-fought battle from the first whistle to the final whistle. The opponent gave us a run for this Westfield's team money, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, but Stevie Barton, definite play of the game right there. Game-sealing interception in 2 weeks in a row. Adam McDaniel with that great defensive play against Union to knock the ball away. And right there, Stevie Barton finishes this game at Rutgers, High Point Solution Stadium. Absolutely unbelievable win for the Blue Devils. 31 in a row, another absolutely fantastic milestone. And you got to thank this Westfield defense, only allowing 6 points for the second week in a row. Unbelievable win.
And Hank Shapiro will take a knee, and the clock strikes 0. 13-6, your final score here in Piscataway as the Blue Devils find a way. It was not easy, Chris, but this offense made the plays it had to. Jake Valabera, a huge run in the third quarter to give Westfield the lead. And then Stevie Barton sealing the deal at the end, coming up with a big interception.
Yeah, Stevie Barton, definite play of the game. But this defense, again, held its own. They gave up a touchdown, but the ball was at the 1 yard line after a blocked punt. Nothing much they can do there, but this entire game, able to lock down the run game for the Minutemen. 31 in a row for Westfield, and on to the next from Immaculata next week.
Thank you so much for watching our broadcast this afternoon. For our entire crew here at BDTV, cameraman Jack Abuzzi and Dominic Murillo, our analyst Chris Witzel, I'm Michael Leniart saying so long. We'll see you next week at Immaculata.